But once it get close to that time, you know what I mean, it's time to go to work, you know? And when we go to work, y'all know what comes after that.
Well, I see their weakness. That's what I do. You know, we broke the code with Loma that nobody had ever done. You know, we didn't let him get comfortable in there. You saw that. You know, within like 8 rounds, he didn't know what to do. I did the same thing with Josh Taylor, and we're gonna do the same thing with Shakur.
This is the fight that I've been kind of waiting for my entire life. I didn't have to make this fight. This fight, I could have just stayed at 135 pounds, sat comfortable at 35. I don't feel like no fighter at 135 can beat me. I made this fight happen because I know Teo is one of the guys at 140.
Terence Crawford loses patience at the press conference, clashing with Teofimo Lopez Sr. as he issues a fierce warning, saying Shakur will seriously hurt his son inside the ring.
Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Why?
Teofimo Lopez Sr. confidently claims his team has studied Shakur closely, believing they have identified several clear weaknesses in his fighting style.
We want a competitive fight. We do this for the fans, you know. Ever since my son started this, you know, I told him, you know, this is entertainment.
Terence Crawford warns them confidently, saying Shakur is extremely difficult to beat because of his elite skills, ring intelligence, calm composure, and ability to control fights effortlessly.
He's a work of art. Sky is the limit with Shakur. You know, he got the boxing skills and the ability to, you know, do whatever he wants in the ring. You know, and it's going to be very hard to beat Shakur, you know, with the skills that he possesses and the smarts that he has, you know, and given the opportunity, I think he can pose a great threat to everybody in the division, you know, and be the last man standing given the opportunity.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. says they will not let Shakur get comfortable in the ring, predicting he will lose just like Lomachenko and other opponents Teofimo has beaten before fight night.
It's going to be a great fight. I want everybody to come and see it. If you can't, you know, just watch it on TV.
You've had to come up with some good game plans over the years to beat some great fighters, Lomachenko, Taylor, among them. How difficult is this man, Shakur Stevenson, to prepare for?
Well, I see their weakness. That's what I do. You know, we broke the code with Loma that nobody had ever done. You know, we didn't let him get comfortable in there. You saw that, you know, within like 8 rounds, he didn't know what to do. I did the same thing with Josh Taylor, and we're going to do the same thing with Shakur.
At the press conference, Shakur gets heated, confronting Teofimo Sr. and insisting he has no right to fight on behalf of his son.
Come on, man. You're out of your mind.
Okay.
My son fought without no air. My son fought without no air against Cambosis.
You can't fight for your son. You can't fight for your son.
You gonna tell me, man? Come on.
You can't fight for your son.
I bet you're gonna quit.
Terence Crawford trains regularly with Shakur Stevenson, sharpening skills, building strategy, and preparing intensely together ahead of their highly anticipated fight.
I almost missed that one. There it go. 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 God damn. There it go, bro. He trying to run me into the wall. Y'all didn't see that? He's trying. Man, I perform. You know that? I told y'all what I was gonna do. I was gonna come out here and beat his ass every game. And look, he's thinking about saying, let's play again.
Shakur remains fully focused on becoming a champion, diligently following his game plan, refining every skill, and staying disciplined to ensure he performs at his absolute best in the ring.
I just went up to 140. I said, let me get the Ring Magazine champion. Let's fight that guy. Let's fight the guy that's the guy. And all that more pressure stuff don't mean nothing. As long as I'm like locked in and I'm focused on what I'm supposed to be doing, nothing else matters around me. That 4-weight world champion, it means everything to me. That's me separating myself. A lot of these guys that they claim is the guys nowadays, none of them can say that they are a 4-weight world champion. Honestly, for a minute before Devin went and did it, none of them could say they was really 3-weight world champion. So now for me to go to the 4th and the next level is a different type of thing. And a lot of people got to respect me, because at the end of the day, if they don't respect me, they don't got no choice but to.
Analyst Henry explains that in Teofimo Lopez's fight against George Kambosos Jr., a clear weakness in his style emerged. While Lopez's low lead hand can be effective for setting up jabs and keeping opponents off balance, it becomes a liability when he fights aggressively. Kambosos quickly capitalized on this, allowing Lopez to come forward and land powerful counterpunches with precise timing.
Now, Teofimo Lopez has a bit of an issue. It's something that it's not always an issue, but it's something that certain fighters can turn into a weakness for him, and it's something that is a weakness for him when he fights the way he did in this fight. And that is the low lead hand that he has. It's great when you are trying to set things up. It can be really good when you're jabbing because it's out of your opponent's eye line very often. They can't see it coming. But when you're being this aggressive, it simply does not work, in my opinion. And there were multiple times in this fight where George Kambosos just let Teo come to him and caught him with powerful, aggressive counter punches. I'd say that Kambosos found his range and his timing very, very quickly in this fight, and I'm just going to show you a couple of moments here in round 1 that really stood out to me where Teofimo Lopez was being exceptionally aggressive. So you can see with this lead hook here that George Kambosos lands as a counterpunch. It's a very, very key shot for anyone who is facing Teofimo Lopez, and I'm just going to break it down for you now. So the thing about Teofimo Lopez is, because he can be very lunging,
Henry highlights a key moment in round 1 where Kambo's lead hook connects perfectly as a counter, showing the danger of Lopez's lunging attacks. Lopez often steps first to load his front foot, then shuffles in with a pendulum step, creating wide stances and low hands. Although his chin is tucked, this position compromises balance and leaves him open. Kambosos exploits it beautifully, firing a checking left hook, escaping, and later landing a dramatic overhand right, shaking Lopez and causing panic in his corner.
You would never expect someone to really attack you from that range in boxing, but he does. And the thing about the way he does this is there's usually a bit of a tell. So watch here. What he does is he takes a step first to load that front foot, which then permits the pendulum step. It allows him to shuffle in, and I'll show you what I mean by that as you're watching here. Let me just undo that. 2 small arrows is what I'm looking for. So watch here. Leans on that front foot, and then he goes with the pendulum. Back foot in, lead foot forward, and he lands in this position here. Now you can see the problem with this position here is that his balance is going to be hard to get because his feet are so wide and his hands are low. So whilst his chin is tucked in, that's good. His hands are low. And as he throws, Kambosos has that lead hand ready and waiting. Watch what happens here. He quickly leans back, he fires that check left hook, and he gets out. Beautiful work. Now, the other moment that we need to see from this one is probably the most dramatic moment of his career, where he landed an absolutely huge counter overhand right. And it definitely shocked Teofimo Lopez. It was what caused all the panic in the corner. I don't think he thought he could get hurt.
Regis Prograis believes Shakur Stevenson has both a mental and technical advantage over Teofimo Lopez. He acknowledges Lopez's impressive athleticism, but emphasizes that talent alone isn't enough at the highest level. According to Prograis, Lopez often struggles with consistency, showing flashes of brilliance but failing to maintain focus throughout a fight. In contrast, Stevenson approaches every bout with a clear strategy, patience, and discipline, making him difficult to outmaneuver. Prograis also highlights Stevenson's mental strength, noting that he stays calm under pressure, adapts quickly to opponents' tactics, and avoids unnecessary risks. Lopez, on the other hand, can become frustrated or over-aggressive, which opens him to counters and mistakes. Prograis sees this combination of tactical awareness, composure, and technical skill as giving Stevenson a significant edge, suggesting that while Lopez has physical tools, Stevenson's fight IQ and mental resilience could be decisive in determining the outcome.
Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, that definitely makes sense. Who do you think is going to win that fight?
I got Shakur for sure. Shakur.
Do you think he wins this comfortably, or do you think it'll be a close fight?
I think he wins it comfortably. Yeah, I think he wins it comfortably. I think, Shakur. I think the thing is about Teo is very good athletically, but he's weak-minded. You can see in some fights he's struggling. Teo does struggle. Now he does come up for big fights. Lomachenko, he came up. Josh Taylor, he came up. But a lot of fights, man, he struggles in. He does struggle on a whole lot of fights and stuff. Like, I think he looked good. Yeah, he looked good against Barboza. But like I said, for the most part, Teo does struggle. And I think he struggles mentally with a lot of things. But I think with Shakur, I think Shakur's going to break him. I think maybe the first two or three rounds, it might be a close fight. You know, it might be close. It might be 2-1 or something like that. But then
Michael Conlon describes the fight between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson as one of the most exciting matchups possible in boxing today. On paper, it promises a clash of two exceptionally skilled fighters, each bringing unique strengths to the ring. Conlon points out that both Lopez and Stevenson have demonstrated elite talent, sharp technique, and the ability to execute under pressure, making this fight particularly intriguing for fans and analysts alike. He emphasizes that while Stevenson is known for his tactical intelligence and adaptability, Lopez offers explosive power and athleticism, creating a fascinating contrast in styles. Conlon believes this combination could lead to a highly competitive, unpredictable fight that tests both fighters' skills, resilience, and strategy, making it a must-watch event for boxing enthusiasts worldwide.
after that, I feel like Shakur is probably gonna start stepping up, and Tio's gonna try to hit him, and it's not gonna work. And then Shakur might start. The thing about Shakur is a very good, a real good counterpuncher, really sharp, real sharp with the counterpunch. He sneaks those punches in, and that's the ones that hurt the most when he just sneaking them in when you're not supposed to hit him. So I definitely feel like, I feel like Shakur is gonna beat him comfortably. Not knockout, but comfortable 12 rounds for sure.
Have you sparred Lopez before?
I never sparred Tio.
Teofimo Lopez discusses his training regimen, stating that he has been taking it easy lately, enjoying himself, having fun, and not pushing too hard in the gym while staying relaxed and focused.
How you feel about the fight?
I don't know, man. I feel.
You've been playing these little mind games. I love it. And the little interviews.
I'm just having fun, man. I'm just being fun.
Yeah. The boxing world needs that too. The promotion, they just put out the Versace interview, right? And we wanted to see that early, right when you guys did it.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing real good though. They're promoting it well right now.
You like how they're promoting it? You think it's like they were talking about this like the leaders of the new school? That's how you feel?
I mean, it's got to be. Ain't nobody else doing it like we doing it.
Antonio Tarver approaches the Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson matchup with the insight of a seasoned boxing analyst who looks beyond records and recent performances. He believes that judging Lopez solely on his last few fights would be misleading, as there is more depth to his skill set than statistics can capture. Tarver emphasizes that Lopez possesses natural athleticism, power, and fight IQ that can make him dangerous for any opponent when used effectively.
Yeah, I mean, smart money would be on the boxer, Shakur Stevenson, winning the decision. But, if Lopez can make this fight, a lot tougher than expected, and he's going to have to exchange with Shakur. He's a fast fighter. We don't know who's the quickest or fastest here. You have to give the speed edge to Shakur. But if Lopez can punch with this fast guy, make him a little bit cautious and a little bit leery of what's coming back, that serves him well. But Teofimo is one of the best conditioned fighters out there. If this fight goes late, you can expect him to be pushing forward round 9, 10, and 11 if it goes late.
Yeah, a big question is always like what Tio is going to show up. And like when everyone's counted out Tio, it's actually been the times where he's like upset people, like against Lomachenko or against Josh Taylor.
At the same time, he acknowledges Stevenson's technical brilliance, tactical awareness, and ability to control the pace of a fight. For Tarver, the matchup is fascinating because it isn't just about wins or losses. It's about how each fighter adapts, adjusts, and applies strategy under pressure. He sees it as a true test of skill, mentality, and ring intelligence, where the outcome could hinge on who imposes their game plan most effectively.
Fights to the level of his competition. And I've been thinking like, hey, if we get the best version of Tio, like the Tio that showed up for those fights, does that Tio beat the best Shakur?
It would have. I think that's the only chance he got, is to really be his ultra self, doing all the things that makes him Teofimo Lopez. The footwork could be a major advantage for him. Being able to get inside. A lot of times he fights free. He don't really have a style. He does what it takes. And he's a gutsy fighter. Real gutsy. He's not going to be leery to take chances. He's a gambler in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's a live underdog, I would say. A live underdog. But if he's to win this fight, I think he has to probably stop Shakur Stevenson. He's going to have to hit him with something. And let's hope Shakur
Gary Antoine Russell gives an inside perspective on Shakur Stevenson's training camp as he prepares to face Teofimo Lopez, highlighting the discipline, structure, and intensity of the workouts. He explains that every session is carefully planned to sharpen Stevenson's skills, from technical drills to conditioning and strategic sparring. Russell emphasizes that the camp isn't just about physical preparation, it's designed to build mental toughness, adaptability, and focus under pressure.
Okay, that's when one person stay in the middle and they just spot everybody that one person stay in while they keep. That's what that was. That's what I was doing. It wasn't just Shakur there. It was Shakur there. Richard Hitcherson's was there. He didn't want to spar. Who else was there? I want to say what? Keyshawn brother was there. Keyshawn Davis' brother was there, but he was just there as a spectator. I was about to spar with Troy Isley. Right. Did some rounds with Troy.
You sparred all of them.
Not Keyshawn brother. That was another day. But they was all there. All of them was there. That whole little camp. And there was another gym that was there too. So it was like two gyms that came to give us some.
Stevenson approaches each day with seriousness, executing every drill precisely while staying aware of his overall game plan. The sparring sessions mimic real fight scenarios, helping Stevenson anticipate different styles and counters, ensuring he can adjust on the fly. Russell notes that the camp's intensity pushes Stevenson to improve constantly while maintaining composure and control, qualities that have defined his rise in boxing. Overall, he portrays a fighter fully committed, focused, and ready for the challenges Lopez presents in the ring.
I stayed in the middle and I did my rounds, boom. Did 6, hopped out, did 6 more, no, did 7 more straight. 6, hopped out, did 7 straight, boom. And the rounds that y'all seen with Shakur was the ass in my last round.
Oh, back end. The back end.
Yeah, that was the last round. That was the last round. And I'm like, all right. And they was doing like 3, hop out, or 2 and hop out, 2 and hop. So they was fresh. Who was fresh? And it was before the Olympics. Motherfuckers is getting that grown man strength and that beefy body now. Like, come on, bro. But like I said before, still stands. Skills pays the bills. So you can be strong and big. If I'm gonna outskill you, then I'm gonna outskill you.
Yeah, we just saw that with Canelo and Terence.
Exactly. Canelo.
In discussing his upcoming fight, Shakur Stevenson exudes calm confidence and self-assurance. He approaches the matchup with a clear, focused mindset, never appearing intimidated or rattled by outside opinions or criticism. Rather than reacting emotionally to doubt or hype, Stevenson frames this fight as a natural step in his journey and growth as a fighter. He emphasizes preparation, strategy, and discipline, showing a maturity beyond his years. Every comment he makes reflects his understanding of the sport and his own ability, highlighting both patience and calculated ambition. Stevenson's demeanor signals that he is not simply fighting to prove others wrong, but to continue building his career and refining his craft. His composed outlook demonstrates that he is mentally equipped to handle pressure, adapt in the ring, and execute his game plan effectively against any opponent.
It's cool. I mean, that's their opinion. Like, you know, they could say that. But I know he never fought nobody on my level. Like, I'm 1,000,000% sure that Tio has never seen nobody as good as me in his life.
He's talking about, like, once he gets through you, then he wants Crawford, names like that. How do you think he would do against someone like Terence at this point?
I think he gets knocked out.
Can't even hang with him.
Yeah, he's too little. But it's too big for him.
Right. As far as skills, though, do you think he's on par with the likes of Terence?
I'm not gonna say he's on a Terence Crawford level of skills, but he's very skillful. He got a lot of things with him that puts him at a high level.
One thing that was interesting to me was it seemed like you were going to move on from Matchroom, but now Eddie Hearn is involved in this, and this is a Matchroom event. It seems. What is the state of your relationship with Eddie and Matchroom at this point?
Eddie's my guy. I'm actually not signed to Matchroom, but he's my guy. I'm a big fan of Eddie Hearn, and nothing but respect to him. But I'm glad he's the promoter that's on this card. I'm glad to share the spotlight with his promotional company.
So if he's your guy, how come you're not signed to Matchroom?
I mean, it's just business. If it makes sense, then I will. You know, if it come down to it and that's what makes sense, then we'll do it. But right now, I don't think it makes sense.
Okay, so are you just more of like your own man at this point? Your own entity?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Do you negotiate with the ring people, with Turkey? You just do that yourself?
No, me and my manager, Jay Prince. Yep.
Okay. And does that work for you? Do you feel like this could be something that could just work for you for the time being?